Guerrilla style video where I sit on the porch, smoke a cigarette, and talk about video games. That sound good? That sounds good. So one of my subscribers wanted me to talk about the Spyro Reignited trilogy. And I'll be real honest, I love these collection style game packages. I liked them on the PlayStation 3, where I could get things like Shadow of the Colossus and Ico together, where I could get things like I think it was the Killzone trilogy, which had Killzone HD, Killzone 2, Killzone 3, the Tomb Raider collection, the Devil May Cry collection, a lot of different collections. And I like seeing these types of remastered or remade collections, like the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy. And I was honestly super excited for Spyro. But there's problems. See, Spyro, for some reason, the Spyro Reignited trilogy announces that on its physical release it has all three games included. The unfortunate problem is all three games are not included. It has one game on there and you have to download the other two. And it's for that exact reason that I've decided I'm not going to buy the Spyro Reignited trilogy. Now, a lot of people, when I say these things, you have these new age gamers that don't know what they're talking about. Are like, why are you stuck in the past? Why can't you just embrace the future? Well, like I've said in past videos, when I purchase a game, it's an investment, and I think to the future. That's why I didn't buy Destiny. That's why I've already told Taylor that I don't want him to get me Fallout 76. I'm not going to play Fallout 76. I thought long and hard about it and decided, no, I'm not going to participate in that. When I buy a game, I'm thinking about the future. Now, I don't have any of my games right now to hold up to you. They're all in boxes, and the ones that I'm playing are sitting on top of the Xbox and the PS4. But, take, for instance, a PlayStation 1 game. A PlayStation 1 game you can play in your PlayStation 1, your PS2, your PS3. For some reason, not your PS4, which I wish they'd update, because I'd love to do a Legend of Dragoon Let's Play. But a PlayStation 1 game physically is there forever. So if I want to play Spyro, I'm going to have to get the three games on PlayStation, because at least then I can play them whenever I want to. The problem with having a game that's download only is that eventually you're not going to be able to play it. Like, I want to be 80 years old one day and then go back through some of these classic games, like Final Fantasy, like the original on the NES. I want to go back through, freaking Mega Man 8 on the PlayStation 1. I want to go back through these games that I played over the years that I have a lot of memories with. And the thing is, yeah, you can get a cheap thrill right now and play through them again, but eventually you're not going to be able to download it again because those services are not always going to be available. I don't know how much longer that the PSN and Xbox Live is going to support the 360 and the PS3, but I can tell you it's not going to be forever. And the bit of evidence that I have to this is if you look to the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, their online services are gone now. They don't exist anymore. The games on the games on the PlayStation 1 have outlived the digital services on the PS2. And granted, they didn't have a lot of download-only games back then, but they have a lot of download-only games now. I've mentioned it in one of my most successful videos, which you guys should watch if you haven't, my digital versus physical video. But there's a game I have on my 360 that is going to stay on my 360. Because if I were to ever delete it, I wouldn't be able to re-access it. And that is Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. You can't get to this game anymore. It's inaccessible. You can't play it. And that's a real problem. And with the Spyro Reignited trilogy, if you buy it physically, you're only getting one game. The two games that are download only, you won't be able to download eventually. And that bothers me. It really does. And it's a problem. And people act like this digital future is a good thing. It's not. Because eventually the services will go down, or somebody will lose the licenses, or some executive somewhere will get butthurt and they'll remove the game from the store entirely. You can't play Scott Pilgrim anymore. You can't download it. You can't get things like PT because of Konami. And this is a real problem. And the problem I have with gamers these days is you've got all these newfangled fucking new age gamers that don't know any difference. And they think, oh, it's fine, I'll just download everything. Well, there's a lot of problems that come with that. And if I'm going to go out and buy a physical copy of a game, I want it to be physical. That's why I didn't go for Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition, because instead of doing what they did with the Ultimate Edition of Fallout New Vegas and the Game of the Year Edition of Fallout 3, they didn't put the DLC on a disc. They just gave you a voucher code. And I don't like that, because I like to play other games. I have a finite amount of space on my PS4 and my Xbox One. So usually I have what I'm playing now installed, and everything else is uninstalled. But I buy most of my stuff physically. All my digital games pretty much stay on my PS4 right now. Like, I have a lot of digital stuff on the PS4 that I don't delete. I keep it on there because I'm paranoid, And when I look at these situations, like if I want, like years from now, if the Xbox 360 isn't supported, if I want to play the DLC, if I want to play If I want to play Point Lookout on Fallout 3 and go back through that, I can, because I have a disc that I can just install onto my Xbox 360. But let's say 20, 30 years down the line, the Xbox One is no longer supported, possibly. I don't know. I don't know what happens in 20 to 30 years with Xbox Live. But let's say I want to play, Far Harbor on Fallout 4? If I don't already have it pre-installed and keep it there forever, I'm screwed. At a certain point, I'm just screwed. I can't play it. It's inaccessible. And that's the problem. That's what it comes down to with these types of digital download style games. And that's why I don't like them. That's why I'm not going to buy the Spyro Reignited trilogy, and I'm not going to support it. I know that the devs worked really hard on it, and some executive somewhere was a piece of shit and was like, no, we're not going to put 2 Blu-ray discs in there. We'll just have them download the other games. And that's an issue. That's an issue with me. There are massive games being manufactured now, and we do a lot of downloading of most of them, and it really bothers me. That's why for the first year or so of having the Xbox One or the PS4, I'd try as best I could to play these games offline to see how functional they were without all the downloaded shit. And some of them, to be perfectly honest, I couldn't finish because it's like, oh, we need further installation. It's like, that's a problem. I don't like that. It's an overarching issue that doesn't just have to do with Spyro. It has to do with a lot of shit, and I think it's an issue that is not talked about. If I'm going to buy a physical edition of a game, I want a physical edition of a game. Like if you guys go and check out my buddy Nathan of Devil Dog Gaming, he did a review on Spyro, and he talked about this in his video, and he did say a lot of good things about Spyro. It does look really good, and for people that just download it, like download all 3 games, fine, that's okay. But the issue is for us that want to get a physical copy. And the physical copy does not come with all 3 games. That, to me, is false advertising. That's a problem. That should be illegal. It really should. Because I think about, people act like everybody has internet. And internet is not it's not a right. It's a luxury. You pay for internet. You pay for the box. You pay for the internet connection. You have to maintain it. Not everyone has internet. And I feel bad for any of these individuals that go out expecting all 3 games to be on the disc, and then they find out, oh, it's not, and I have to download this other stuff. What are you supposed to do? Carry your TV and your PS4 to McDonald's? Like, it's not fair to these individuals that this shit happens, and it's a real problem that today the games industry is just pushing. They want us to download stuff. They're sick of manufacturing discs and packaging and all this stuff, and it's bullshit. It really is. It's bullshit. Because I like to buy my games physically. I like to have those nice fancy steel books or those cases sitting on a bookshelf. It's a collector's item for me. It's something that I like to hold on to. It's something precious to me. And it's like more and more the industry is moving away from that, and it's a problem. It bothers me immensely. So with the Spyro Reignited trilogy, all I have to say is I'm not going to support it, because if they had just not been greedy, selfish cunts and put an extra Blu-ray disc or 2 in there so I could play the full game, I would have been happy. And they didn't do that. They didn't bother. They didn't care enough to do it, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, because I think about like other forms of media. Like you buy a book, you get the whole fucking book. You buy a movie, you get the whole fucking movie. You buy, like, if I go out and buy like the entire series of Lord of the Rings, like the original trilogy and the Hobbit trilogy and all that, I get all the movies. It doesn't pop up and say, oh, you gotta go to this website and download this, or you gotta go through your services. No, I get all the movies. I get what I want. If I buy the complete series of Cowboy Bebop, I get every fucking episode of Cowboy Bebop. I don't have to go through and do anything extra. I get what I paid for. And with games, it seems like these days you exponentially don't get what you paid for. And that's a real problem. That's why a lot of games, sometimes I decide I'm going to buy used, or I'm going to get cheap, or I'm going to get for free. Like with Devil May Cry, like DMC Special Edition, the crappy one that Ninja Theory made. I didn't pay any money for that. I played it. I got it for free with a GameStop buy 2, get 1 free. And I didn't spend any money on it. And I feel good about that, because fuck Ninja Theory and fuck that game. But like, these days you don't get what you paid for. And with the abundance of new digital deluxe editions and all these separate packages, it just seems like greedy bullshit. It really does. And it bothers me on an immense level. Because I remember a time in which when I bought a game, I got my fucking game. When I bought a collection, I got my fucking collection. I would have been pissed off if I had bought the Sly collection or the Ratchet and Clank collection. It's like, oh, you gotta download the other 2 games. I'm like, no, that's fucking stupid. It's not right. And if you're one of these gamers that's like, but no, you have no leg to stand on, because you're an idiot. You're a selfish, pretentious little prick who doesn't understand that not everyone has good internet connection, and you don't care so long as you get yours. And that's the problem I have with most of these modern gamers. Like, I remember a time in which there was camaraderie, there was community, and we could all, you know, get along and all this. But no, now we have a split base with people that are like, oh, but the digital future is the best. And we have old dinosaurs like me that are like, can I just get my shit on a disc? That's all I want. I want a disc with my shit on it so that I can fucking play it whenever I want to. I can install it and play it when I want to. That's why I buy and collect. That's why you have people that have book collections and movie collections and Blu-ray collections. It's because we like to hold on to our shit. We like to have what we paid for. And with this bullshit with digital games, you don't have what you paid for. You don't own what you paid for. And at any moment, the service can go down, they can change this, they can do this, and then you suddenly can't play your fucking game. There are people at the end of the original Xbox's internet connection thing, the Xbox Live, there were people still playing Halo 2 and trying to stay on the servers until they shut it down because people loved Halo 2 multiplayer so much. And I'll be honest, the Halo 2 multiplayer in the Master Chief Collection is nowhere near the original Halo 2 multiplayer. It's just not the same. It's not. It's just not. And it bothers me because I wonder, like, when is PS3 and Xbox 360 no longer going to be supported? And then I have to ask, when the PS5 rolls around and whatever the new Xbox is, how much longer are those systems going to be supported? Because I'm going to be alive for a long time unless something unexpected happens. And I would like to think that when I'm old and brittle and dying, I can go back through a game that I loved and enjoy it just as much as the first time I played it. Like when I'm 70 years old, I want to play through Ape Escape again on whatever thing I have it on. and with these digital services, you don't have that guarantee that it's going to be there forever. You just don't. Like, one of my other friends, Daniel, can no longer play his OnLive thing because OnLive doesn't exist anymore. They took it off. It's gone. All that money he spent is fucking worthless now because the service is no longer supported. And that's what really bothers me about modern gaming. It's not just Spyro. It's everything. Absolutely everything. And you have these gamers that just don't care. Because as long as they can download and don't have to go to a store, they don't give a shit about the rest of us. And like, if you want to download, that's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's okay. I think, you know, we can live in camaraderie, but there are these individuals that are like, you just need to stop living in the past. I'm not living in the past. I'm thinking about the future. If I buy something, I want to have it. I want to make an investment. I want to have the shit I pay for. And that's why I'm not going to buy Spyro Reignited, because I'm getting one game, I'm getting the first level of 2 and 3, and if I want to play the rest of those games, I have to download them. And eventually, one day, those 2 games are not going to be accessible. And that's a problem. It's a problem. And if you don't address that problem, you're a fucking idiot. I see this shit too much. With these games that have all this digital stuff, all this stuff they want you to download. And it's like, just put it on the disc. Because if I'm buying a physical edition, I want a physical edition. I want all of my shit on a disc. And it would have been so simple if they had just put an extra disc in there. But they didn't. So, I think that's enough of me bitching. Spyro Reignited looks amazing, but it's a fucking scam. It's an absolute scam. If you're a physical gamer who wants something to collect, I would recommend tracking down the PlayStation 1 originals. Because at least in 20 or 30 years, you can go back and play Ripto's Rage without having to download it and worry about whether or not you can download it. Because who knows how long the PS4 and Xbox One online services are going to be supported. There's no guarantee that it's going to exist forever. There's no guarantee that it's going to exist. So, I want to know what your thoughts are. Do you think I'm full of shit? Or do you think I make a really good point with my flawless logic? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you do have any video requests, I am taking them. I've got quite a few lined up that I'm going to discuss. So, thank you. Drop me some likes. Still need those likes. Still need those comments. If you're watching and you ain't liking and commenting, what are you doing? Show me some support. I need it. And I'll see you guys in the next video, which I think I want to talk about the PlayStation X Classic, whatever the hell the thing is. The PlayStation Mini. I want to talk about that thing, because that thing is also a piece of shit. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.